So this gave Zelaya many support, and Zelaya, by 3 months ago, that he was about to make this consult to the people, had a popularity of 78% in the polls of the private polls. That means that he passed from the 12% to the 78%. And when the coup took place, many of the people, even those that were against Zelaya, many of the politics, are now part of the national resistance against the coup. Because it's clear that these people that don't take almost no one to vote, these people that don't have the trust of no one in Honduras, were back in power. We believe that their days were over, and it was going to be a day for new people to get in the politics of Honduras. But the people that saw a new opportunity in what Zelaya was asking, that was a new national assembly to make a new constitution. And I mean people like the indigenous, campesinos, feminist organizations, African descendant organizations,
workers.
We believe that we had a chance. And one day to another, the same people that were before were back in power. The de facto government president, Micheletti, lost his election in the Liberal Party by a difference like 40% against the other candidate. So not even in his party he has the people backing him up. So that's mainly the reason why there are so many people in the streets of Honduras, because first, we thought that we were close to a new constitution in which, for example, in the actual constitution of Honduras, there's not a single word about women. It doesn't recognize women like a political important actor in their country. And it doesn't say anything about the indigenous, and doesn't say nothing about the campesino. And it's a very racist, sexist, and dominant constitution that the people know that it doesn't give any response to the necessities. And well, the United States, the first thing that happened was when the coup took place, the European Union made a clear statement at the same time as Venezuela, Bolivia, and Cuba, at the same time. And the same day you could see Hugo Chavez being against the coup, but Berlusconi also being against the coup. So you say, okay, this is clear. Right wing and left wing are clear. The coup d'etat in Honduras is wrong, and this is not going to last too much. And even President Obama said that he was against the coup, and even though Zelaya wasn't the best friend of the United States, they couldn't support such a violent action in the interrupting of the democratic process in the country. Days after, when all the world had already pronounced themselves, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton made a very confusing statement. And she said that they were still discussing if it was a coup and it wasn't a coup. And it's strange to see that it's a coup for all the world except for the Secretary of State. And it's hard to believe that a military-occupied country like Honduras, in which our military forces are still trained, and since from their helmets to their guns are all bought in the United States and put in the Honduran by the United States government, that it's really close to the Honduran army, didn't know about a coup d'etat.
You're listening to Live from the Heartland. I'm talking with Gerardo Torres from Honduras. We're talking about Honduras. We're going to run out of time, so I'm going to fire a couple of questions at you. One, have there been any splits in the military? Well, are there any regiments, any battalions or whatever who have backed Zelaya and have stood up for the people?
There was a letter that got to some radios that, the radios that weren't closed by the military forces, and they said that they were a part of the military structure that was against the coup. But it's a very small position. The biggest part of the military are with the de facto government, because they are guaranteeing to get back the power that the same people took them away. So they're back in the streets when they were almost about to close and to stop it.
What about one of the things I read, I think I read it this morning, was one of the issues was it was the telecommunications companies that were probably going to have some changes in their direction, and they basically backed the coup.
Yes.
You know about that?
Yeah, well, this is part of the same politics in the national companies. And I mean, there's what the problems with water service, with energy service, with telecommunication, because in Honduras, the state had sold at very
Sold
low
them all off.
Yeah, and Zelaya was getting them back. And he was also charging bills that were over 100 million lempiras of the biggest businessmen in the country that hadn't paid their energy bill for over 30 years. So if in Honduras, if you don't pay it after a month, they cut your service. But these people
Here
hadn't.
too.
Yeah, I know. And in Honduras, there were 30 years that they hadn't paid the bills, and their bill was over 100 million lempiras. And that was also of the reason. They say that it was because Zelaya was close to Chavez, and that's not true. They call him communist, not when he signed the ALBA. They call him communist when he's trying to get the money back that they owe to the...
When he sent them their bill, their overdue bill.
That made him...
Gerardo, in the last couple minutes here, can you tell us what you think will happen? I mean, my questions would be... are there any other parties that have an opportunity to run? Will people participate in the next election? What do you see happening? Will the general strikes and the people's movements from the bottom up continue? Are they ebbing now, or are getting stronger? Give us a little picture of right now, and know that you have 3 minutes left.
Okay, the National Resistance in Honduras is a movement that includes all the social organizations, even those that we have never seen before, to make a discussion. We're working together. People don't believe in elections in the de facto government. People are not going to vote. And people are every day getting stronger. There are many sectors that were like sleep, like the universities, that are now an important part of the resistance. And people that had little difference before are now together in a national movement. The people in Honduras are asking Zelaya to come back as a first demand. But the principal objective of us as an organization, of a national resistance, is for a new National Assembly and a new constitution. So, even if Zelaya comes back and he has his hands tied, and they just want him to validate the new elections, the people are not going to accept that, because the people want a new constitution. That is the main goal in Honduras right now. Zelaya coming back and a de facto government going out, it's like the first demand. But they had, with this action, with this coup d'etat, well, they have killed over 15 leaders of the national resistance. But they had also put us in a place that is 100 years ahead of where we were 5 months ago. So now in Honduras, there's a popular movement that with a political clear position in which we want to refound our nation. We want to make a reset in what's happening in Honduras and start over. And take out these people. There is a small group that are still in power because they have the weapons of the military forces with them.
Vicky.
I just want to jump in and let people know that you can hear more about what's going on in Honduras from Gerardo and the other members of the delegation. We have a number of people from Honduras in town tonight at 7 p.m. at Casa Michoacan, 1638 South Blue Island. That's at 18th Street and Blue Island Avenue in Pilsen. And also to let you know that next Tuesday is an International Day of Action against the coup in Honduras. And in Chicago, what we're going to focus on is we're going to have a day of sending letters to the White House, to the congressman, to the State Department, demanding that the U.S. government take serious action against the coup, implement our own laws, recognize that a coup is a coup, no matter what Mrs. Clinton is trying to redefine it. And we're going to have an event at 1901 South Loomis. That's Decima Musa Restaurant. And we're going to have computers set up to do email, direct mailing, and we're going to be watching some videos on the history of Honduras.
And a phone number if someone wants to find out more quick.
312-259-5042.
Okay, I want to thank everybody who helped make Live from the Heartland such a wonderful show today. I want to thank Gerardo Torres, Vicky Cervantes, David Fagus, and Dave Seman from Organizing for America. Remember, on Monday night at the Loyola Park Fieldhouse, a checkup on the healthcare debate. It's a meetings with speakers, and we hope you all will come out. This is Michael James for everyone involved with Live from the Heartland, saying do good in the world. The world needs all the good that you do. All power to the people. Over and out.